Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So I am back today to do another one of my seasonal book recommendation videos. I can't believe I have now done a full year of these and we're back to the beginning of doing summer book recommendations. 5 book recommendations for the hotter seasons that will just make you feel a little bit summery. So without much further ado, let's just get straight into these books. The first book that I had to recommend to you for summer is The True Love Experiment by Christina, which is a really lovely contemporary romance book following the main character of Felicity or Fizzy Chen. She is a very successful romance novelist, but unfortunately she's in a bit of a creative rut. She's struggling with the fact that though she is so prolific as a romance novelist, she's never actually been in love. But then she's approached by a producer of a reality TV show called Connor, pitching this idea of doing the True Love Experiment show, where she is there to date different romance novel hero archetypes. The bad boy, the cinnamon roll, the player, the good on paper guy. However, as they are developing the show together, it seems to be Fizzy and her producer Connor who are starting to fall in love with each other. But of course, with jobs on the line, what are they to do? I mainly think of summer for this one because there is a really pivotal beach scene where Fizzy and Connor start to realise their feelings for each other. That's just the scene that sticks out the most in my mind, but also it's just really light-hearted, really good fun. The romance is super engaging. The characters are charming. As I say, there is that summer setting. I also, for some reason, think of summer when it comes to reality TV. Even though I don't watch it, things like Love Island or Too Hot to Handle, I feel like a lot of reality TV shows tend to be around about summertime. And yeah, I think this will be a lovely escapist read. One that is maybe not so escapist is Malibu Rising by Jenkins. I feel like Jenkins is just perfect summer reading material. And this is another installment for her 4 books that are all vaguely in the same world and all to do with fame. And in this we are following the Reaver siblings, Nina, Jay, Hood and Kit, the children of Mick Reaver, who you all know from the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. We are following the 24 hours that they are planning a party, but also we are flashing back to earlier in their lives and actually in the courtship of their parents, how they've dealt with having a famous but neglectful father, growing up in the spotlight, the 4 of them and their love of surfing, them dealing with this troubled family legacy. But then of course we've got this 24-hour party period where secrets will start to emerge and maybe divide the siblings. As I say, this is very summery because you've got this love of surfing, you've got the beach setting. I feel like a bit of a family drama is always good fodder for the summertime. The plot is really engaging and fast-paced. So yeah, so something that has a summer setting but is really engaging, lots of complex characters that you can really sink your teeth into. I think this would be a perfect summer read. Maybe a bit of an unconventional one, but one that came to mind for me was Hamnet by Maggie. I think mainly because I think of this book and I think of heat. This is a historical fiction novel looking at the wife of William Shakespeare and particularly following the death of their son Hamnet. Though we are once again looking at 2 different timelines, we are looking at the courtship of Shakespeare and Agnes, as well as 1596 and the plague that would end up infecting both of their twins, Judith and Hamnet, but ultimately would end up killing Hamnet. I suppose this is escapist in the sense that we are going back into a historical time period, but maybe one that you would not want to visit yourself. But the setting and the atmosphere is just so vividly described by Maggie O'Farrell. The narrative itself is just so emotional, so deeply moving. Maggie O'Farrell is just a master at crafting these characters and bringing these historical figures that we don't actually know very much about to life. Another very pivotal chapter that I always think about is this chapter which tracks how the plague travelled from one side of Europe to another, to eventually being in Stratford-upon-Avon. And I don't know why, but just thinking about how this plague circulated, how it travelled around Europe, I weirdly think of travel and I think of summer. I think of like stifling heat. So yes, it's potentially a bit of an odd summer recommendation, but I think especially if you've been wanting to read one of these very, very hyped books that everybody tells you that you should read, this is definitely a great one to pick up. Next up, if you're looking for a short book to read in summer, but one that will definitely pack a punch, I would recommend Foster by Claire Keegan. This very poignant short story looking at this young girl who is sent to live with a foster family during the summer in rural Ireland in the 1980s. Her family is struggling financially and the mother is about to give birth to another child. And so this young girl is sent away to live with the counsellors, who end up showing this child who has been very emotionally neglected by her family a sense of love and care and consideration for herself as an individual that she's just never experienced. It is incredibly heartwarming, incredibly emotional. Once again, it is set in summer, but we're getting quite a different summer setting in rural Ireland than you would necessarily from a beach in Malibu. Despite the fact that it's set in the 1980s, there's just such a timelessness about this writing. It's a very simple and straightforward story, but it's still very powerful and allows just for moments of reflection, of quiet contemplation, which I think is always welcome in the summertime. And yeah, I just really, really love this one. And then the final book that I recommend to you in the summer is The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery. On her 29th birthday, Valancy Sterling is shocked to find, following a shock diagnosis from her doctor, that she has very little time left to live. She's always been quite a downtrodden person within her family, always put down by her family, and so she decides that she's going to take control of her life, and in the last few weeks that she has left to live, move out, take control, and that's exactly what she does. Once again, we've got this very uplifting story, quite contained within this small rural community, but I think of summer when I think of this book because there are a lot of scenes that take place by the lake, which is just very vibrant and picturesque from Ellen Montgomery's description. The fact that Valancy is just filled with this desire for adventure, desire for freedom, which I just think matches so well with summer. There's also a little bit of romance baked into this story, which I think will be definite summer fare. Though it's a classic, it's definitely written in a very accessible, engaging way. A simple story, but one that is very light-hearted and uplifting, and I just think will be great for the summer. So there we go, those are 5 more recommendations of books to read in the summer months. I would definitely love to hear if you read any of these and any summer book recommendations that you have yourself. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.